Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we're talking about thrash metal legend Sodom and their latest album Genesis XIX, or Genesis 19, via Entertainment One. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Sodom formed in Germany all the way back in 1981, cranking out classic albums over the decade like Persecution Mania, M16, Agent Orange, Tapping the Vein, and more recently Decision Day in 2016. Recommended for fans of the likes of Kreator, Slayer, Destruction, and Exodus, Sodom's latest album is sure to thrash you to pieces. As I also mentioned in my reaction and track review for Friendly Fire, I'm always pleased to come across longtime acts that are still bringing the same level of energy and intensity of their early years. While a lot of legacy acts tend to phone it in their later years, Genesis XIX feels like it carries the same youthful angst of bands even 30 years their junior. Right from the top, tracks like Sodom and Gomorrha and Euthanasia never fail to get my head banging and my feet tapping, not to mention bringing on an overwhelming desire to put on my battle vest for each listen. Seriously, it makes me feel naked without it. These moments are the ones that tend to fit my particular taste for thrash just right, going fast, hard, and to the point with fairly concise runtimes just around the 4-minute mark. The alternations between blasts and always enthralling D-beats, relentlessly chugging palm mutes, and vocalist Tom Angel Ripper's Slayer-esque vocal delivery make for some serious mosh pit moments. But there are also some longer compositions on the album as well, most notably the 7+ minute title track and the Harpooner. I've always been one to argue that the nature of thrash itself is generally best served in small, punctuated doses, save for certain classics like Master of Puppets, of course. But I have to admit that Sodom do a decent job here of providing enough dynamics and variance in the songwriting to keep these tracks interesting without ever sounding too repetitive. These slower sections also give the bass guitar some room to shine front and center. I still do prefer the faster, straight-for-the-gut stuff overall. It's just personal preference, really. Overall, all of the band members here do an excellent job of bringing the best elements of the genre to light. The guitars especially bring a surprisingly broad variety of riffs to the table, from simple chuggy chord progressions and ear-piercing pinch harmonics, to fiery solos and the more methodical and occasionally proggy moments of tracks like Occult Perpetrator. On the flip side, I would say that at 55 minutes, the album feels a bit overlong, with what ultimately feels like a pointless intro and a few tracks that feel like they could benefit from just a little trimming here and there to tighten things up. And while it's always nice to hear a band singing in their native language, as with Nicht mehr mein Land, this track is my least favorite of the track listing. Give me some more German Sodom, by all means, just crank up the BPMs. Turning to my scales, I give Genesis XIX an 8 for enjoyability. The faster moments like closing track Friendly Fire are easily 10s and really get my motor running, but the sheer amount of slower moments keep me personally from getting to that same level of enjoyment for the entire album. I give it a 9 for musicianship. Again, lots of great performances on this record from all members, and the songwriting is generally quite strong even when it's not necessarily my speed. And I give it a 7 for innovation. Just your typical thrash metal record here, no real bells and whistles to speak of, but sometimes you just need to throw on the vest and bang your head. So an 8 overall and a B- for Genesis XIX and Sodom. Get it once more via E1 Records. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know down in the comments, what did you think of this record? What do you think is the best thrash metal record of 2020? And hey, stick around because I got plenty more videos coming right after this one. Album tier lists, interviews with bands on the podcast, more full album reviews. You name it, we got it. So again, plenty of reasons to subscribe if you have not already. That'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.